Keke, I'm gonna be real with you. If you get this upset over somebody saying, hey, maybe you're sick this morning because of the liquor you had in excess last night, maybe you do have a drinking problem. Keke was wrong this episode. Keke wants everybody to consider her feelings, but she's not considering Brandon's. Let's talk. What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We are here today to talk the Never Ever Met Season 2, Episode 3, Whining and Dining. And it was some whining. It was a lot of whining, all right? If you guys are brand new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, leave your comments down below. Let me know that you guys stopped by. Shout out to everybody that has been subbing. We did hit 35,000 subs a couple of days ago, so I appreciate you guys. Keep the party going, because now we headed towards 40, all right? So make sure you guys are subscribing. The likes, we're shooting for, once again, 600 likes, maybe seven if y'all feeling froggy. Let's talk about the episode. All right, so the episode starts off with Alicia going after Irvin. So remember last episode, Alicia said that she felt unsafe when her and Irvin were having their conversation. So he got up like every man should. He got up and he walked away. So she goes after him and she's like, look, I'm about to go to bed. So like, can we talk first? So in her confessional, she's saying that she is worried about their connection. So she tells Irvin that she feels that whenever they have a disagreement, a spat, a tussle, a tiff, that his energy changes and what she feels is aggression. I don't want to tell anybody how to feel about anything. I try to be very cognizant of that. However, I feel like Alicia is just doing too much. I feel like Alicia is putting on. That man didn't do anything to you. I don't think he was aggressive, but if she took it as aggression, she took it as aggression. So she then goes on to say, well, you were offended by me saying that I feel unsafe. And he said, no, I wasn't. I did what any man should do, any good man should do, any responsible man, and I removed myself from the situation when a woman says she feels unsafe. Why would I continue to sit here and argue with you? I guess they come to some resolve. They hug it out, but I'm like, to me, this couple is a lost cause, for real. So we then see Keke knocking back drinks. Oh, she is having a time downstairs. Do you hear me? She is the life of the party. So we even see her get a little too loose and she leans back and she almost fell back off the couch. I mean, off the ottoman. And the next thing we see is she is passed out drunk, sleep on the couch. And I said, ooh, Keke, what was you drinking? So the next morning, we see Jared and Charlie, and they're talking. And they both feel like they just have a weight lifted off their shoulders. They just feel free after telling the house. After telling the house that they have these secret kids. Now, I don't know why y'all thought that that would be a weight on your shoulders. Because truth be told, if I'm in that house with y'all and y'all would have stood up and announced at dinner that y'all had all these newborn babies popping up here, there, everywhere, I don't care. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me or my situation. You don't have to tell me a damn thing because trust and believe, I don't care. But they feel like there's a weight lifted off their shoulders. Charlie then says that she has a 6-bedroom house in Dallas, and Jared was like -3, and she was like, no, I have a really nice house, nigga. Like, because that would have been me. If I say my house is 6 bedrooms, then it's 6 bedrooms. I don't have to minus shit. So Jared then is like, well, I'll start looking for some jobs in Dallas. He said he's getting tired of Columbia. And I'm like, you're not going nowhere, Jared. You're not. So Brandon tells Chris and Alexis that he does not like Keke's drinking. He said because it's one thing if you can drink and you can keep up with yourself. There's another when you are drinking and you can't hold your liquor. Now it is currently 2 p.m. Okay, Keke is still in bed, sleep, and she probably hung over, right? And she's sucking her thumb. So Brandon goes upstairs to talk to Keke about her drinking. So he said, look, I don't like how much you drink. Now, I will say this. I commend Brandon for being vocal about his displeasure with her drinking. Now, I do remember in episode 1 when I did say that I felt that he was being controlling when it came to how much he poured in her cup and him in her glass, and him saying, yeah, but that's enough, whatever the case. I did feel that was controlling, and I still do. However, I also said Libra balance that Keke did have enough wine in her glass, right? A glass of wine does not mean you fill it up to the brim. That's not a glass of wine, y'all, right? When you go out to a restaurant, a classy one, a nice restaurant, fine dining, they not filling your glass up to the top like that. They're not. So I see both sides. This episode, I'm on Brandon's side because he's not telling her to stop. He's just talking about the excess in which she's drinking, right? And he's being very vocal about it. He's not being snide about it. He's not going around her back with it. He's telling her ass straight up, I think you drink too much, right? So Keke would say, well, I'm a fun drunk. I'm not a violent drunk. A drunk is a drunk, girl. So he then asks her if she is addicted to alcohol. And she said, no, I'm a social drinker. She said, but there was a time when me and my friend, anytime something would happen, we would get a bottle and finish it. Now, listen, I live in Wisconsin. Okay. I am a Wisconsinite. I am a Milwaukeean, and we drink here. We drink in Wisconsin. Okay. It's nothing to be proud of, but if you know anything about Wisconsin, you know that we drink here. It's kind of what we're known for. I can hold my liquor very well, right? But I have never in my life, me and one other person sat and drank a whole bottle. You know what I mean? I have never. And I've been drinking since college, right? Went to college in Wisconsin. So it's interesting how Keke, because I wanna talk about this carefully. I'm a social drinker, right? I don't drink during the week typically at home. I don't go out a lot anymore. I don't get old. So I'm not out that much anymore. If I go out, I'm not drinking with the intent to get fucked up. That's not what I do. Do I drink? Yes. Right? I went out last night. Had a couple drinks, had a couple shots. It was a good time. Was I drunk when I got home? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If somebody would have said to me, Tammy, damn, you got too many drinks last night, I'd have been like, damn, did I? For real? Like there's a way to handle what is the way to handle this conversation from both sides. I think at this point in the episode, Brandon is handling this well. I think he's handling it well. So Chris and Alexis have a conversation once again about control. I'm sick of this very contrived storyline, but they apologize to each other for how things went. Whatever. Y'all are wasting everybody's time with this. Taronda shows up and they're going to be doing different positions from the Kama Sutra. So, what they're going to do is they're going to pick the name of a couple. They're going to come up. They get to pick whatever other couple they want to go against. The couple that gets into the position, I guess, the fastest and the best is the winner. They get to pick another couple. The last couple standing is going to win a prize, which is a couple's massage. Cool. Of course, Alicia and Irvin get picked first. I believe they went against, was it Clay and Tatiana? And Clay and Tatiana won, and Alicia was so excited. We're done. We're done. So they're in a position, I forgot what it's called, and he wasn't even like body to body on her. He wasn't pressing on her or anything, and she was still saying, "Can you get back? Can you get back?" Alicia don't like this man. Right? I understand they're strangers, but Alicia just doesn't like this man. And that's why no matter what he does, she has a problem with. So we then see that Clay is rubbing all over Tatiana's butt. He's doing the most. She felt that he was being a little performative. I think that Clay is kind of overcompensating because he got this baby that he's hiding. And instead of him just being a man and an adult about it and saying, look, I had a baby. How old is the baby? He said newborn. So, but I guess my thing is if y'all have only been dating for 8 months. So if you have a newborn, was the girl that you slept with, did she get pregnant before you started dating Tatiana? Like they're like, let's just think about this, Clay. Like, why? Whatever. So the winner ends up being Ty and Brittany. I don't like Ty. Something about Ty is, I don't know. He gives me a bad vibe. So Kiki's supposed to be cooking with Brandon. The couples are supposed to cook so that they get into this whole, real world coupledom situation, right? So Kiki's supposed to be cooking, but she has, I want to say, Alexis make some noodles for her, and then she said put them in the freezer. She says she's exhausted. Today drained me, okay? So she goes and lays down. I said, oh girl, so we done cooking? As somebody that does cook, as somebody that is getting ready to go cook for Easter, there's nothing more annoying than when people are supposed to be helping you or at least pulling their weight and doing their part and they don't. So Clay is telling Jared about how he just so happened to have this newborn baby. His ex-fiance moved across country and wound up in his house pregnant. I said wound up. Okay. But he doesn't want Tatiana to think of him as a liar, so he's trying to figure out how he should do this, but he wants to do it soon. Tatiana comes out and was like, hey, I overheard you talking. Like, what was you talking about? Clay was like, oh, I was asking him about the game and how he felt about it, and she was like, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. So he starts talking in circles about how, there's so many things I want to tell you about myself and about us. And I just want to make sure when I tell you about myself and about us, that I tell you about myself and about us. And she was like, you're talking in circles. Um, she was like, no, because I heard you say that there was something you needed to tell me. You didn't know how to say it and you were looking for the right time. He then says, I think I might love you. And I'm like, Clay, don't piss me off because now you're doing too much. She doesn't believe him. He doesn't believe himself. And in her confessional, she said it feels like he's lying, and he is. I just feel like you're making it so much worse by prolonging this. Meanwhile, Keke is upstairs talking about she don't feel good. You're hungover. She doesn't feel good. So she was telling Brittany. Brittany was like, okay, so like what's wrong? Keke said, I'm just hot. I can't cool down. I just feel weird. I said, yeah, because you drank a lot the night before. You woke up with a hangover and then you skipped your ass on outside and y'all were in the hot sun playing in the sand. Why did y'all have these black women laying their head in the sand? The way I would have been like, I'm not doing this shit. Give us a position that does not involve me laying my head in the sand as an adult. So Brandon goes upstairs to check on her, and he gets right to it. Is it because of the liquor from last night? Keke was like, no, it's because it was too hot today. So she was like, I haven't even drank anything at all today. He then asks her if not drinking caused her to overheat. Now, I do think that Brandon probably shouldn't have come in that strong, right? I think my initial question would have been, have you had water? I haven't seen you drinking water today. You got this wet towel that you're dabbing on your person, but get a bottle of water, get some Gatorade, get some Pedialyte. So Keke said no, but she thinks a drink would have benefited her today. I'd have benefited from a drink today. I said, Keke, it's giving alcoholic tendencies, sis. So we then get this bullshit ass session with Dr. Wendy Ashley that's talking to Irvin and Alicia. Alicia feels that her authentic self is being criticized. You the only person criticizing shit, Alicia. Miss me with this. Irvin feels as she's not as affectionate as he would like her to be. On the flip, Irvin, you want this girl to come in and want to fuck you and y'all just met. Both of y'all are doing too much. Both of y'all are doing too much. Irvin is not meeting Alicia where she's comfortable at, and Alicia is not allowing herself to be comfortable in any capacity. Next couple, because we all know that they're not going to work. They're not going to end up together. I think in person, Alicia's like, he doesn't look as good as I thought he would, and she's over it. So Brandon, Cinco, Ty, and Jay are in the kitchen cooking. Now Keke is supposed to be helping cooking. I believe it was Cinco was like, where is Keke? Jay was like, she's getting dressed. Oh, never mind. She's outside. Don't bother her. Don't bother her. But she's outside. And now that changes things because we're cooking for you and you outside playing around. Ain't you overheated? Why would you go back outside and you're overheating? So Brandon calls her in and was like, are you dependable? I said, not dependable. Keke gets an attitude. Keke gets an attitude and she walks out. That's it. She don't help cook or nothing. So they're sitting down at dinner. Brandon very shadily was like, okay, we got hibachi made by me and my sous chefs. Basically, because Keke didn't do nothing. Don't have no attitude, Keke. You did not help. You didn't help him do anything. Brandon's being sassy about it for sure, but at the root of it, Keke, you didn't help. So they're eating and things are going great. Okay. Jared then decides, hey, y'all, let's play a game. We're going to all write down if today was the last day, would we pick our person tomorrow? And I said, this is going to be a mess. So they're reading the answers. It's all anonymous. Thank God we can avoid some fights. And it's a bunch of hell yeses, yes, fuck no's, dots, question marks, no's, right? So at the end of it, 8 yeses, 4 no's, and 2 undecided. So Brandon is cleaning up the kitchen by himself. And I'm like, see, Keke, the least you could do is go help clean up the kitchen because you didn't help cook. But no, she goes to play pool. Keke is selfish. Keke, I don't know if I'm out on the island. I didn't look in the hashtag for this episode, but to me, Keke is selfish because the least you could have done is go and help clean up since you didn't help cook like you were supposed to. But you got your ass on your shoulders because this man is questioning the amount that you drink. So Jared comes in and tells Keke, I feel like I know which one was yours. And she was like, which one? And he was like, the fuck no. And she was like, no, mine was the question mark. She said, but I know Brandon wrote no because I saw him write it. So now her little feelings are hurt. So Keke feels like Brandon is not considering her feelings. And I think he is, Keke. I think you're not considering Brandon's. And I think a lot of that is because the first episode, remember, Keke said that she was insecure as to whether or not Brandon would like her, if Brandon would really, really like her because she's a bigger woman, and she was insecure about that. So Keke goes and tells Brandon, I know what you wrote down on the paper, and you wrote no. And he would say, how do you know that? And she said, because I looked, and yours had scribble on the bottom of it. So Brandon said, look, I don't want to talk about it. I'm exhausted from cooking for 14 people and then washing dishes by myself. So he was like, I'm just going to go to bed. Keke is like, cool. But now she feels abandoned that he doesn't want to talk. Keke, no, you don't get to play that card because earlier in the kitchen, when Brandon was trying to talk to you and was like, we're supposed to be cooking together and all this stuff, and I'm cooking hibachi for you because this is your favorite thing, you walked away. Remember when he asked you, were you dependable? You walked away, Keke, so you don't get to pull the abandonment card now. It's not abandonment, Keke. You're in the wrong and you are refusing to take any accountability. All you have to say is, you know what? If you feel like I drink too much, let's have a real conversation about it. But you also told that man earlier today you weren't going to drink anything else, okay? You said you weren't. You said you weren't going to drink at all today. I remember that. So now everybody's kind of hanging out and y'all are sitting in the dining room. And what does Keke have? A glass of wine. So Brandon comes in and Brittany asks Brandon, why do you feel the way that you do right now? And I feel like Brittany is trying to instigate. Worry about yourself. So Brandon said, look, everything went left when I asked her if she was feeling sick from the drinking. So Keke is like, no, I thought we were over the whole drinking situation. I thought we were done with that. I was with Brandon. How were we past it and you're drinking right now? Keke smiles and kind of laughs and was like, it's just wine. Bitch, it's still alcohol. Like, come on. I hate when people do that. It's still alcohol, right? Liquor is liquor. It's still an alcoholic beverage, Keke. Don't do that. And if you're one of those people that says it's not really drinking because it's wine or a wine cooler, then yeah, you do have a drinking problem. So Brandon is like, how are you feeling sick and overheating all day, but you're still drinking? You should be drinking some damn water, which is how I feel too. I have yet to see Keke with some water. I feel like if I'm out and somebody is like, ooh, I've been overheating all day and shit like that, you're not drinking around me because you're not about to fall the fuck out with me because you have to drink. I went to Jamaica for my friend's wedding years ago. I will never forget this. We were doing a lot down there, right? So we're drinking, we're having fun. We were at an all-inclusive resort, so everything is comped. Like we had the liquor bottles in our room that were just a part of it. It was a time. I remember my friend, not gonna say her name, getting overheated the next morning. She woke up super hungover. We're in Jamaica, it's hot as fuck. It was June. It was late June, right? So she's overheating, and every time we would see her be like, okay, I'm gonna go get a drink. No, the fuck you're not. Go get some fucking water. Relax yourself. If you have to have a drink, then you might have alcoholic tendencies. So Brandon said, fine, I'll let you drink out of control the way that you want to, and I'll just back off. So Ty is like, look, I think that, Brandon is just trying to show you that he cares. When he stops caring, that's the problem. So Keke is like, I don't want him to stop caring. Brandon said, look, if you can't care for yourself, then I can't care for you either. And he walks away. So now Keke is still acting as if she doesn't understand his frustrations. And I'm like, girl, if you want to drink that fucking bad, then just drink that fucking bad. Like, stop it. Like, for her to act like Kiki's not gonna get on my nerves. So then Ty and Brittany are getting their massages for winning the activity, and Ty is making jokes the whole time, and Brittany doesn't like it. She feels like he goofs around too much. She's not a fan of it, right? We then see Keke talking to Tatiana, and she's saying how she doesn't like how Brandon is harping on her drinking. And instead of you having a conversation with Brandon about the drinking, you're making it seem as if he is telling you not to fucking drink at all, and that's not what's happening. That's not the case. So she then admits that after her mother passed away, she did turn to the bottle. So, did you? Where is the resolve from that? So if you did turn to the bottle after your mother passed away, rest in peace to your mom. But if that made you turn to drinking, are you still in the remnants of it? When did your mother pass away? How did you stop that habit? Like, there are things that need to be addressed, Keke, but you can anytime somebody gets mad or angry and has this type of reaction to you making a comment about them drinking, they have a drinking problem. Like I said, I drink, right? If somebody were to be like, Tammy, you a fucking alcoholic, whatever. I'm not going to take it serious. I'm not going to get mad because I know that I'm not. But the way that Keke reacted is wild. So some of the guys are outside throwing around the football. And we find out that Jared is the one that said, fuck no. I said, oh, girl, okay. So Cinco realizes 4 of the 7 men said no. Brandon, Jared, we find out that Chris is the one that said hell to the no. And then they're assuming that it's Irvin. 4 out of the 7 men saying no is crazy. It's crazy, right? So, and we don't even know if some of the other men said that they were undecided or whatever. So Jared is lying to Charlie in the kitchen and said that he wrote yes because she was like, I didn't write yes. He said, oh, cool. Did you write that? She was like, no, I wrote hell yeah. I said, oh, girl. So Jared is like, no, I wrote yes. I wrote yes. She clearly doesn't believe him because you got too excited at the prospect of her being undecided. And we come to find out that Jared just wants to fuck her. Like, he keeps saying, I just want to crack. I just want to crack. I mean, I just want to crack. And I'm like, nigga, you got... Okay. And that was the end of the episode. Let me know what you guys thought about it. If you haven't already, subscribed to the channel, thumbs up the video. Happy Easter, happy Resurrection Day. For those of you that partake, happy 420. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.